Everyone, myself Juveria Siddika. Today in this session, I am going to discuss about the second part of the transport of the gases, that is the transportation of the carbon dioxide. In the previous session, I discussed about the oxygen transportation and how the oxygen will be transported from the blood to the different tissues, or you can say from the lungs to the different parts of the body. So now how the carbon dioxide which is formed after the physiological processes that will be received from the cellular tissues or the each and every cell, and again how the process will be carried out. Let us see here. So as we know, the transport of the carbon dioxide is a transport by the blood from cell to the alveoli. So as such we know this is the reverse transportation like the oxygen. Oxygen it is transport from the lungs to the cells, but here the carbon dioxide it is transport from the cells to the alveoli. Suppose this is a cellular membrane, and then you can take this is a alveolar membrane. Okay, let me take this is a cellular membrane, and then this is like a alveolar membrane. So here the transport of the it should be like a reverse when we are talking about the carbon dioxide. This is a cells, from the cells, and this is the alveolar membrane. This is like a alveolar membrane. How the transportation of the carbon dioxide will be take place? The carbon dioxide is transport from the cells to the alveoli membrane. This is the way. But if we are talking about the oxygen, it is like a reverse. It is come from like a lungs to the alveoli to the, it is like a alveoli to the cells. It moves to the alveoli to the cells. It is like a reverse in manner. So carbon dioxide is transported by the blood from the cells to the alveoli, and then carbon dioxide is transported in the blood in the four ways. We are saying that it is a transportation from the cells to the alveoli, but how the carbon dioxide is flow in the body of individual? So again it will be carried out by the four processes. So see here, what are the four processes by how it will be transport into the body. So the first one is like a as in the dissolved form. So how much? That is a 7%. It is in a dissolved form like the oxygen. If we are talking about the oxygen, it should be directly dissolved into the blood, that is the 3%. Maximum approximate it will be like a 3%. But here if we are saying about the dissolved form of the carbon dioxide, that is 7%, and again in the form of like carbonic acid, which is again very much little bit, so it will be like a negligible form, and in the form of bicarbonate, as in the form of bicarbonate, which is somewhat major quantity, you can say here the 63% is move or the transport in the form of bicarbonate, and in the form of the as carbamino compounds, that is the 30%. So basically coming to the topic, coming to the transportation of the carbon dioxide, it is flow or the transport majorly in the four ways. The first method is in the form of dissolved form. The carbon dioxide is flow or it is transport in the form of directly dissolved into the plasma. How much? That is the 7%. And the another one is about carbonic acid, in the form of carbonic acid, which is very much less, that's why it is mentioned as a negligible. And the third form, how it will be transported? In the form of bicarbonates, in the form of bicarbonates, that is the HCO3. It is a major part of the carbon dioxide that is transport in this form, 63%. And then another form is like a carbamino compounds, which is a 30%. The 30% is the transport in the form of carbamino compounds. Again see here, the cellular respiration in the peripheral tissues. So as we know, it is a reverse process. So it is begins with the cells. This is a cell. So from here, this see here, that is the number 1 point numbering also given here for your easy understanding. So from here, the carbon dioxide which is formed from the cell, it enters into the bloodstream. This is directly dissolved into the blood. How much? That is a 7% is transport in this manner. Again, the second part, it is in the form of like a carbonic acid or the formation of like this. So in the second way, it is entering into the RBCs. See here, it enters into RBCs. This carbon dioxide, it is combined with the hemoglobin and form the carbaminohemoglobin or carboxyhemoglobin, HbCO2 is formed. So whenever it is enter into the RBC, this one, it is combined with the hemoglobin and form the carboxyhemoglobin in the RBC. Again, the remaining carbon dioxide is combined with the water and forms the bicarbonates, H2CO3. It forms as a H2CO3, and whenever this H2CO3 is break, it releases the free form of hydrogen. This H2CO3 is released or it breaks into the form of free form of hydrogen. It releases free form of hydrogen and hemoglobin is separated, and as a result, here the free form of hydrogen is released, and then due to the chlorine molecules, the entrance of the chlorine molecule or the chlorines, so this forms as a, it directly dissolved into the blood in the form of 70%, that is the in the form of like a carbonates. So in this, you can understand that how it will be taking place. The carbon dioxide is combined with the hemoglobin and form the carboxyhemoglobin, HbCO2, that is the 23%, and the another form, that is the remaining carbon dioxide, is combined with the water and form the bicarbonates, and whenever the bicarbonates is dissociate, it forms as a carbonates and the free form of one hydrogen molecule, and then it transport into the lungs. Whenever it enters into the lungs, so how these carbamino, that is the HbCO2, that is the hydroxy carbonic acid, and then it is again breakdown into the free form of hemoglobin and release the carbon dioxide. And so here this is the phenomena how so see here, the carbon dioxide which is again come from that release, and from the alveoli membrane it enters into the alveoli cell, and how these bicarbonates are dissociated into the, again in this you can see this bicarbonates is breakdown into the, again it releases the water and the carbon dioxide, the free form of carbon dioxide, and whenever this free form of carbon dioxide is released, again it will pass into the alveoli membrane, and from there again it will be sent outside to the respiratory tract. So by this flow chart, by this diagram, we can easily understand what is the total process behind this. And now let us see one by one how the carbon dioxide is transported. The first form of the carbon dioxide transportation is in the dissolved form. It is directly dissolved into the plasma. So see here how it is going to be dissolved into the plasma. So the first form of carbon dioxide dissolved into the plasma, the dissolved form, the transportation is carried out by the dissolved form. Carbon dioxide diffuses into the blood and dissolves into the fluid of plasma, forming a simple solution. So just it will be mixed with the carbon dioxide is mixed with the plasma, it is combined with the plasma and form a solution, just simply form a simple solution. Only about the 3 milliliter per 100 ml of plasma of carbon dioxide is transported as dissolved state. It is about the 7% of total carbon dioxide in the blood. So if we talk about the measurement, how much it will be from the 100 milliliter of the plasma, only the 3 milliliter is going to be dissolved. But if we are talking about the total form of the blood, it will be received how much? The 7%. Only the 7% is transport in this form. And the another one is like as in the form of carbonic acids. Part of the dissolved carbon dioxide in the plasma combines with the water to form the carbonic acid. So the whatever the carbon dioxide is there, that is combines with the water and form a carbonic acid, that is in the form of like H2CO3. And this transport of the carbon dioxide in this form is again negligible, which is very much lesser in manner. So this is a negligible in the measurement. And the third form, which is a very much important form, how the transportation of the carbon dioxide take place in the form of like a bicarbonates. It is approximate about the 63%, which is again a major form of the major quantity of the transportation of the carbon dioxide is there. So in the form of bicarbonates, from the plasma carbon dioxide enters into the RBC. First of all, what happens here? From the plasma the carbon dioxide enters into the RBC cell, then combine with the water to form the carbonic acid, and the presence of carbonic anhydrase, this is the enzyme named as a carbonic anhydrase enzyme, accelerates the reaction. So what is the meaning of accelerates? It increases the speed of the reaction without changing the substance's nature. So speed increasing is called as the increase in the reaction is called as the accelerates. So this carbonic anhydrase is an enzyme which accelerates the reaction. In the presence of this enzyme, the reaction will be going to speed up. And carbonic anhydrase is present only inside the RBCs and not in the plasma. That is why carbonic acid formation is at least 200 to 300 times more in RBCs than in plasma. So see here, this carbonic acid present only in the RBC cell, not present in the plasma. That's why it is much more, that is the 200 to 300 times more present into the RBCs. So how these bicarbonates form? A bicarbonate form is develop or form into the plasma. So see here, first of all, what happens? The carbon dioxide, it is combined with the plasma, and from plasma it enters into the RBC, and in the RBC, due to the presence of carbonic anhydrase, it is speed up and forms the much more in the RBCs. Carbonic acid is very unstable, dissociates into bicarbonate and the hydrogen. So this carbonic acid, whatever the carbonic acid is formed, it dissociates into, this carbonic acid is again dissociates into bicarbonates plus hydrogen. Bicarbonates and the hydrogen ion. The concentration of the bicarbonate ion in the cell increases more and more. Due to the high concentration, these bicarbonate ions diffuses through the cell membrane into the plasma. So due to the high concentration, these bicarbonate ions diffuses through the cell membrane into the plasma. Again from the RBC it will be releases into the plasma again. And the fourth form is like carbamino compounds. The carbon dioxide is transported in the form of carbamino compounds. So here approximate the 30%. The 30% of the carbon dioxide is transported as the carbamino compounds. The carbon dioxide is transported in the blood in the combination with hemoglobin and plasma protein. It is combined with the hemoglobin and the proteins. That's why it is called as the carbamino compounds. Hemoglobin plus proteins. So here this carbon dioxide is combined with the amino. Amines means here related to the proteins. So it is combined with the proteins, and that's why the formation of carbamino compounds are formed. And these carbamino compounds are formed due to the combination of hemoglobin with the carbon dioxide. And this carbon dioxide is transported in the blood in the combination of hemoglobin and the plasma proteins. As a result, this carbon dioxide combines with the hemoglobin to form the carbamino hemoglobin or carb hemoglobin. It is also called as like a carb hemoglobin or the carbamino hemoglobin, which is a carbon dioxide is combined with the protein. Carbon dioxide is combined with the protein, and it is the combined with the plasma proteins to form the carbamino proteins. Loose bonds so that the carbon dioxide is easily releases into alveoli. Carbon dioxide dissociation curve. So in the meanwhile we discuss about the how the four forms. In this four form the carbon dioxide how it will be transported into the body. So basically the carbon dioxide is transported by the four ways, as in the form of directly dissolved into plasma, that is the dissolved form. The second one is as in the form of carbonic acid, and third one as in the form of bicarbonates, and the fourth one as in the form of carbamino compounds. It is secreted or it is transported in the form of carbamino compounds. And after that we know the association of carbon dioxide with the hemoglobin and forms the carboxy hemoglobin. And after that, for the free release of hemoglobin or the free release of carbon dioxide, it has to be dissociate. This carboxy hemoglobin has to be dissociates, and the dissociation of the carbon dioxide and the release of free form of carbon dioxide is explained by a curve, and that curve is called as a graph. You can say a curve or a graph, that is called as the carbon dioxide dissociation curve. So see here, the carbon dioxide dissociation curve is the curve that demonstrates the relationship between the partial pressure of carbon dioxide and the quantity of carbon dioxide that combines with the blood. So this is a relationship between the partial pressure of carbon dioxide. So this dissociation curve is the relationship between the partial pressure of carbon dioxide and how much quantity of the carbon dioxide is combined with the blood. That is the relation between these two. So see here, the normal carbon dioxide dissociation curve, if you are talking about the normal carbon dioxide dissociation curve, so content, the carbon dioxide content in the blood, how much content is present and what is the partial pressure of the carbon dioxide is there. If it is like a 48 ml or the percentage, if you are talking about that, then the partial pressure is about the 40 mmHg. If it is a 52, then it is a 48 mmHg. If the content of the carbon dioxide is 70, then it is a 100 mmHg of partial pressure. So at the 100 ml, at the cent% of the partial pressure, that could be seen in the presence of 70 milliliter, or the 70 percentage of the carbon dioxide which is present into the blood. So this is a normal carbon dioxide dissociation curve. How much carbon dioxide is present into the blood, and what is the partial pressure of that carbon dioxide. So see here, this is the first one. If it is like a 48 in the presence of the carbon dioxide in the blood, if it is like a 48%, then the mm of Hg, or the partial pressure, is 40. If it is a 52, then it is a 48. If it is a 70, then the total 100%, or the 100 mm of Hg is recorded. So this is a very much important. This is a graph which shows the relationship between the partial pressure of carbon dioxide and at the same time the content of carbon dioxide, how much carbon dioxide is present into the blood. This is the, in the x line, this is like a x axis, it is showing the partial pressure of carbon dioxide, and at the y axis it shows the percentage of carbon dioxide mix up with. So as such, we see this diagram, or we see this graph, you can see the one curve is there which is a left handed curve, and it shows that deoxygenated, this one two lines are mentioning here, this out one is the deoxygenated and below is the oxygenated blood. And see, at the partial pressure which is measured starting from the 0, 20, 40, 60, 80, and at the same time on the y axis also, which is the measurement for the content, how much quantity is present into the carbon in the blood. And see, this is explained by the one effect that is called as the Haldane effect. Haldane effect is the effect by which the combination of oxygen with the hemoglobin displaces carbon dioxide from the hemoglobin. So what is the meaning of this? According to the Haldane effect, it is the effect by which the combination of oxygen with the hemoglobin, that is the oxyhemoglobin, displaces carbon dioxide. It releases or separates the carbon dioxide from the hemoglobin. So first of all, as we know, hemoglobin is combined with the oxygen and forms the oxyhemoglobin. According to this Haldane effect, this oxyhemoglobin has to be break in the free form of hemoglobin and the oxygen. Then only this free hemoglobin will be releases. It was first described by John Scott Haldane in the year of 1860. Excess of oxygen content in the blood causes the shift of the carbon dioxide dissociation curve to the right. So according to this, if the carbon dioxide is more, before this curve is if the content of carbon dioxide more, then it is if it is in the normal in condition, then the shift is present into the left or the upper side. But when the carbon dioxide content is going to be increases, after some time this curve is moving to the right side. This is moving to the right side. Excess of oxygen, when the oxygen is increases, that's why it is showing like oxygenated blood, the curve is shifted to the right side. If the oxygen is less, then curve is shifted to the left side. Excess of oxygen content in the blood causes the shift of the carbon dioxide dissociation curve to the right side. So normal thing is there, if the oxygen is more, then the curve is going to be down. The carbon dioxide capacity will be less. So it is explained by the Haldane effect. And then Highly acidic hemoglobin has low tendency to combine with the carbon dioxide. Whatever the highly acid hemoglobin is there, it has the low tendency to combine with the carbon dioxide. Means if it is the acidity is more, then the combination of carbon dioxide is less. So carbon dioxide is displaced from the blood. Because of the acidity, hydrogen ions are releases in the excess, and hydrogen ions bind with bicarbonate ions to form the carbonic acid, and as a result this carbonic acid in turn associates into water and forms the carbon dioxide. So in this session we discuss about the, so let us first of all, I want to tell once again, this is the Haldane effect. This Haldane effect is explained that if the quantity of oxygen is more, then the presence or the combination of the carbon dioxide is less. So this diagram is showing about the carbon dioxide dissociation curve, and this carbon dioxide dissociation curve explains that if the carbon dioxide is more, then the shift of this curve to the left hand side or the left side. If the oxygen is more, then this curve shift to its right side. And see here, the presence of the oxygen and the carbon dioxide is vice versa. If the oxygen is more, which is explained by the Haldane effect, then the free form of the oxygen is dissociates, and this oxyhemoglobin is dissociates and curve is shifted to the right side. And if it is the acidity nature of the more, acidity nature is also more of the hemoglobin, as a result it combines with the carbon dioxide, and then as it is separates the hydrogen, and the free form of hydrogen is again combined with the carbon dioxide and forms the carbonic acid, and from the carbonic acid it breaks, and this free form of carbonates or the free form of hydrogen ions forms the bicarbonates. So like this the total process is carried out, the total physiological process of the transportation of carbon dioxide will be take place. So see here, once again I just want to give a summary. What we understand, what we come to the discuss in this topic. We are discussing about the transportation of the carbon dioxide. Majorly the carbon dioxide which is secreted, which is released from the cells in the process of physiological metabolism or the physiological processes, and it is the vice versa. Whatever the carbon dioxide which is secreted from the cells, it enters into the alveoli, from where, from the alveoli membrane again it will be sent outside through the respiratory tract. And before that, what is we have to know? We have to know that how this carbon dioxide is transported into the body. Basically it is transported by the four methods. What are these four methods? It is transported by the four ways. The first form is in the dissolved form, the second is like a carbonic acid in form, and in the third form is like a bicarbonates in the form of like a bicarbonates, and then fourth form is like a as a carbamino compounds. So how this is, by this diagram you can easily understand that the total four ways are there, the four methods how the carbon dioxide is transported. The first form is like a, which is a directly transport from the cells to the plasma, which is a 7%, and then it is combined with the carbon dioxide and form the carbonic acid in the RBCs. Again it is combined with the hydrogen ions, the breakdown of this carbonic acid, the release of hydrogen ions, and then it is formed as a bicarbonates. And lastly, the free form of the dissociation of the carbon dioxide from the carbonic acid, and free form of carbon dioxide is secreted or the release. And the four forms we discussed about this. As in the dissolved form, directly how much percentage here? 7% is dissolved. And then if we talk about the milliliters, the quantity in the 100% or the 100 ml or the 100 milliliter of the blood plasma, only the presence of carbon dioxide is 3 ml per 100 ml. And the second one is like as in the form of like carbonic acid, that is in the form of like H2CO3, that is in the very much little quantity, which is again the negligible form. And the third one is about as in the bicarbonates form, majorly about 63%. It is about a 63%, which is a much more quantity, much more in number. And here this carbon dioxide is enters into the RBC. It is combined with this free form of carbonic acid or the hydrogen, which is secreted by the breakdown or the dissociation of carbonic acid, and it forms the bicarbonates. Again see here, whenever the bicarbonates dissociates into the bicarbonates and the hydrogen ion, and the concentration of this bicarbonate ion in the cell increases more and more. Due to the high concentration, these bicarbonate ions diffuses through the cell membrane to the plasma. And lastly, in the form of like a carbamino compounds, which is here again, when this carbon dioxide is combined with the proteins, amines, it is combined with the proteins or the amines. So how much? That is 30% of carbon dioxide in the form of proteins. It is combined with the proteins and forms the 30% of the transportation via this method. So here the carbon dioxide is transported in the blood in the combination with hemoglobin and plasma protein. As a result, so carbamino compounds are formed. We also discussed, and after that we have the carbon dioxide dissociation curve. So what it curve demonstrate? The curve demonstrate about the dissociation curve is the curve that demonstrate the relationship between the partial pressure of carbon dioxide and the quantity of carbon dioxide that combines with the blood. So it is a relationship between the partial pressure of carbon dioxide and how much carbon dioxide is present into the blood. There is a relationship between, and that is explained by again this what we can say, this is the curve, this is called as the carbon dioxide dissociation curve. And after that we have the Halden effect. According to this Halden effect, whenever the percentage of the oxygen is more, then the lowering or the shift is moving to the right side. By the increasing of the oxygen, the decrease of the carbon dioxide is there, or by the decrease of the oxygen, the carbon dioxide will be more, and it affects on the acidity nature of that hemoglobin. If it a high hemoglobin or the high acidity in nature is there, then the separation or the low tendency of the combination with the hemoglobin to the carbon dioxide. If the acidity is more, then the hemoglobin is not going to be that much of combined with the carbon dioxide. As a result, the carbon dioxide is separated into the or the displaced into blood, and because of the acidity, the hydrogen ions are releases, and that hydrogen ions bind with the bicarbonates to form the carbonic acid, and this carbonic acid in turn dissociates into water and release the free form of carbon dioxide. So in this module we discuss about the second part, that is the physiological process of the carbon dioxide transportation. Okay, by this we are end up with the topic.